All right, welcome back to the channel. So we have some interesting news about Canelo Alvarez is being offered a $30 million deal to fight John Ryder, a guy that just beat a Danny Jacob I believe yesterday or a few days. I think it was yesterday that they fought, and it seems that we're going to see if Canelo is going to take this $30 million deal with John Ryder. I'm gonna break it down for y'all. Let's talk about it in this video. King Jr. got another video for y'all. So we have some interesting news as the undisputed champion at 168 pounds, Canelo Alvarez. There was some news that was being reported on a boxing podcast or network. It's called Fight Nation, and these guys, Jerry, I believe his name is Gary Cooney and Steve Fox, and they was talking about how that Canelo Alvarez could accept the deal with John Ryder for $30 million. Made the deal. Sorry guys, the deal made by Dazn. Now, for my diehard boxing fans that doesn't appreciate Canelo like I do, you're probably thinking in your mind, oh, if Canelo fight John Ryder, he's probably not the face of boxing. This ain't the case because Canelo Alvarez, like I said before, I believe he's chasing history, and I believe towards the middle of Canelo Alvarez's career, which would be about 30, maybe up to 32, 33, is Canelo Alvarez is going to be looking to make the big fights. That's what I believe. You might have your own opinion on it, but I wouldn't be mad if Canelo Alvarez did take this deal with John Ryder, because Canelo Alvarez at the end of the day is draining these big time networks and TV networks, whatever, not out of their money. And Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican fans seems to appreciate Canelo Alvarez for what he has done, and they are willing to buy Canelo Alvarez pay-per-view in fights. And I wouldn't mind Canelo Alvarez. I know it's not an interesting fight, him fighting John Ryder. I think Canelo Alvarez obliterates John Ryder. And we're going to see what is next for John Ryder after defeating Danny Jacobs, which I think Danny Jacobs should give up the sport of boxing. But Canelo Alvarez has been offered the $30 million. And a lot of you probably say, oh, if he picks John Ryder, this is an absolutely cherry pick. No, that's not the case. If if I know I'm Canelo Alvarez, if I'm fighting a guy that's not on my level for $30 million, I would definitely take that deal, because it's basically easy money, an easy fight, and you could obliterate this guy and get him out of there. You never got to worry about the guy again. And a lot of you probably thinking, oh, this is a cherry pick. Canelo doing this again. He's not going to want him to fight the best of the best. We can't say that about Canelo, because Canelo is doing what Canelo wants to do. He said he could do whatever he wants. He's just doing what's best for him and his family in the business of boxing. And you guys probably think I'm taking up for Canelo. I have to respect the business of what Canelo and Eddie Reynoso is doing on how they're moving. I truly believe Canelo Alvarez is going to fight these guys, and it wouldn't be a bad move to see Canelo Alvarez get another big bag for a B-level fighter and get as much money in the sport as you possibly can. It's always been about making the money, and Canelo Alvarez, it seems, to be satisfied with the money and getting the easy bag. And Canelo Alvarez is also looking for history, and I think once Canelo Alvarez achieve what he wants, achieve the history that he deserves, and choose to rectify his name in the Hall of Fame, I think that Canelo Alvarez is going to shut everybody up and shut all the chatter up. I think he's going to fight Jamal Charlo. I think he's going to fight David Benavidez. I think he's going to fight Demetrius Andrade. Canelo Alvarez is going to fight all these guys, and I believe he's going to make a statement at these guys, and that people may think that he was ducking them, which a lot of people do say Canelo Alvarez was ducking Charlo since 154. But I personally believe that even if Canelo Alvarez would have fought him at 154, I still had Jamal Charlo losing to Canelo Alvarez, because I don't think any of these guys are just dedicated to the sport of boxing, such as Canelo Alvarez is dedicated to the sport of boxing. You guys might have your own opinion on it about how you feel about Canelo Alvarez. If you feel that Canelo Alvarez is ducking the best of the best, he's not willing to fight the best of the best, that's your opinion. My opinion is I think Canelo Alvarez is going to fight the best of the best. I think he's going to beat all these guys, because Canelo Alvarez eats, sleep, and breathe boxing. And he has a trainer within Eddie Reynoso that's going to look after him, is going to look for what's best for Canelo Alvarez in his career. And we all know that I personally blame Eddie Reynoso for throwing Canelo Alvarez in the ring too early, even though y'all may say Canelo Alvarez had 44 fights, but Canelo Alvarez hasn't fought a guy with that caliber within Floyd Mayweather. If Canelo Alvarez would have waited like 2 to 3 more years to fight Floyd Mayweather, even though he had 44 some fights, I still think a lot of guys or a lot of guys, they think they might know it all at that young amount of age. They think they can do and beat anybody. But as you've seen, Floyd Mayweather put on a boxing lesson against Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo Alvarez just had the big head at the end of the day, and he wound up taking the L. But since then, Canelo Alvarez has grown as a fighter, and I wouldn't be mad if he took the deal with John Ryder, get as much money as you can in the sport, take the biggest bag as you possibly can take, drain the companies out of the money because they feel like that you are the big star and you deserve all the bags. So drain them as much money as you possibly can. But a lot of fans, such as myself as a diehard boxing fan, would like to see Canelo Alvarez versus Jamal Charlo because I believe Canelo Alvarez beats Jamal Charlo easy because Jamal Charlo, he's not dedicated to the sport of boxing. He's running around getting in trouble. Even though we got people lying on him and trying to drain him out of his money and with legal issues he's suffering. But we got to see if Canelo is willing to make a deal or accept a deal with Jamal Charlo. And this is a fight that Eddie Reynoso is interesting because this is a big deal fight and this is a big money fight. And Canelo Alvarez, I think Canelo Alvarez is going to take the $50 million for one fight deal with Jamal Charlo. That's if Canelo Alvarez decide, you know what, I think I should move at the 175 and just get this undisputed. Then I'll drop back down. But a lot of people feel like Canelo Alvarez should just beat Jamal Charlo, go beat undisputed at 175, come back down, retire Gennady Golovkin, and then you could do whatever you want in the sport of boxing. Canelo Alvarez doesn't have to get David Benavidez a payday. Canelo Alvarez doesn't have to get a lot of guys a payday because what have they done to get a fight with Canelo Alvarez? Y'all may say Canelo Alvarez hasn't fought the absolute best of the best competition, but look at the guys, look at your favorite guys like a Charlo. Who has Jamal Charlo fought on his resume that really stand out? Julian J. Rob Williams, that was a fight that was a long time ago. So we can't just say Canelo Alvarez isn't fighting the best of the best. Canelo Alvarez is fighting who they're throwing at him and who is going to rival with him as a business standpoint in the best of his era. And Canelo Alvarez is just, at the end of the day, he's making the most money. He's trying to do whatever he can to support his family and whatever not. And I support Canelo Alvarez as a fan. But with that being said, Canelo Alvarez, according to a source of Fight Nation with Gary Cooney and Steve Fox stating that Canelo Alvarez could be potentially accepting a deal with John Ryder. And you guys may think it's a cherry pick, but I think as a businessman, if I'm in Canelo Alvarez's shoes as a businessman, I'm going to do whatever it takes to rake out as much money from the sport of boxing as it is because boxing is a dirty sport at the end of the day. Even Canelo Alvarez admit that boxing is a very dirty sport and he's going to do it. He can do whatever he wants at the end of the day. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think about the whole situation with Canelo Alvarez and him could be potentially fighting John Ryder for a deal of $30 million. I don't know if it's a 2-fight deal or 1-fight deal, but all I heard was it was a deal for $30 million for Canelo Alvarez to fight John Ryder. And we know John Ryder isn't going to beat these top guys at 168 pounds, in my opinion. He's not going to beat Jamal Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, David Benavidez, Caleb Plant. I don't even think he could beat Anthony Jarrell, in my opinion. With that being said, it is what it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. This is your boy King Jr. I'm out of here. Peace.